Hi everybody, I'm Katelyn Parrish.
And I'm Grace Weaver.
And this is our Theory of Ecological Systems by Urie Bronfenbrenner.
Urie Bronfenbrenner had an interesting childhood. He was born in Moscow in 1917. He spent most of his life in the United States after moving here at the age of 6 years old. Bronfenbrenner was highly influenced by his father, who was a pathologist in New York. He also had a very impressive educational background, which included an undergraduate degree in psychology and music from Cornell University, as well as a Master of Arts from Harvard University and a PhD in developmental psychology from the University of Michigan. Some of Bronfenbrenner's achievements include him being a World War II veteran. He was a psychologist in various backgrounds. Bronfenbrenner was also the assistant chief clinical psychologist for a VA clinical psychology training program in Washington, D.C., as well as Cornell University and the University of Michigan. Bronfenbrenner was the co-founder of the Head Start program, and he also created the ecological systems theory. What is the ecological systems theory? The ecological systems theory is a theory that suggests development begins at childhood and that each child is affected by everything in their surrounding environments. We can think of the ecological systems theory as one with the Earth with many layers, the smallest in the center. The layers of the ecological environments include the microsystem, the mesosystem, the exosystem, the macrosystem, and finally the chronosystem. The microsystem is the first layer. It is the innermost and smallest environment. It is a contiguous environment and includes relationships with family, teachers, caregivers, and peers, such as classmates and playmates. This affects how a child develops through the shaping of personal connections. An example of this would be behaviorism. Children learn how to treat others based on how they are treated by people such as their classmates, teachers, and parents. Another example of this is a child being able to absorb information from people around them. They're like sponges.
Mesosystem. Layer 2. Relationships made between people in the child's microsystem. Some examples include connections. The paired reinforcement of these microsystems helps to influence development in a positive manner. Or, for example, relationships between parents and teachers. How they work together can have an impact on their student. Or, spiderwebs. For example, they string everything together and everything is connected in one way or another. Exosystem. Layer 3. Indirect relationships, events that happen outside of a child's immediate surroundings that may have an indirect effect on their surroundings. For example, take the butterfly effect. Even the little things in life can have a huge impact somewhere else. Or the workplace of the child's parent. If the parent receives a promotion or is laid off, this can inadvertently affect the child. We all have seen this happen through the coronavirus. Macrosystem. Layer 4. Social and cultural values, ideas, and beliefs that affect a child's development. For example, socioeconomic status, culture, and religion. Differences in these beliefs have a significant effect on an individual's values. Or differences in religion. If a child's family is of a certain religion, they may not celebrate the same holidays, such as Christmas or Thanksgiving or even Halloween. Or they may not even eat the same types of foods as one another, such as fish or bread or meat. Or another example would be the Prince and the Pauper, where in variations like Man in the Iron Mask, they were twins who were separated at birth. One grew up in a rich and lavish lifestyle as a king, and the other grew up poor and impoverished. Another very good example would be The Parent Trap,
The chronosystem is the fifth and final layer. This includes changes over time, patterns of events and transitions, as well as changes in family structure, address, employment, economy, or even war. One example of an effect in the chronosystem would be a change in location. Moving around a lot creates a lack of consistency and can negatively impact development. Or worldwide pandemic. Is the child's parent an essential or non-essential worker? Depending on the answer to this question, a child could be majorly impacted.
PPR standards. Standard 4, Competency 11. A. Applies knowledge of appropriate ways, including electronic communication, to work and communicate effectively with families. B. Engage families, parents, guardians, and other legal caregivers in various aspects of the educational program. C. Interacts appropriately with all families, including those that have diverse characteristics, backgrounds, and needs. D. Communicates effectively with families on a regular basis, in general, to share information about students' progress, and responds to concerns.
PPR standards and how they relate to the theory. A. They acknowledge factors both social and emotional that affect development. B. They face how social and emotional growth affect home and school life. And C. Situations other than schooling influence a child's life. D. Teachers should comprehend the lives of students as a whole in order to provide adequate instruction and address behavior in a proper manner. For example, if a student is often unprepared, the student may not be provided with his needed school supplies due to a lack of income within the family or neglect.
Relevance to educational psychology, ecological systems theory, and why it should matter to us. As future educators, we should be knowledgeable on the way our teaching may impact students. We should also understand that a child acting out may have nothing to do with anyone or anything in the classroom, and may be caused by something within their microsystem. We cannot solely blame ourselves for the inappropriate behavior of a child. We should know when and how a situation should be addressed and can help a student learn and grow in and outside of school. Rolling credits. I'm Katelyn.
And I'm Grace.
And thank you so much for watching our PowerPoint. Also, did anyone see Barney?
I love you, you love me. We're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too?
Next we have Works Cited. 1, 2, and 3. Have a great night!
Thank you.